Alright guys, so I'm going to show you how to put a project into Cut2D so you can run it on your CNC router. So first of all, make sure you download the Cut2D software. We have the Cut2D software for the desktop, and I'm just going to double click on this little icon right here and bring it up. So first of all, I've already created a file in Adobe Illustrator. So I'm just going to open an existing file. I think it's much easier to create in some design software such as Adobe Illustrator instead of trying to design in Cut2D. It's not as user-friendly as Adobe Illustrator. So I am going to find my file. Let me find myself. And I've saved it as Bulldog Graphic 2, so I'm going to double click on that. And there is my file. Now we're not done yet. So right over here, it's asking for the width, the height, and the thickness of my piece of wood. So I've got my tape measure handy and ready. So my width is 8 1/4. So I'm going to delete what they've got, and I'm going to change it to 8.25. You will have to convert your fractions to decimals. And my height, I'm going to delete what they have and measure. And you always want to measure against the straight line if possible. So it is 9 1/8. So we're going to say that is 9.125. And the thickness of my wood is 3/4 of an inch, so I'm going to put 0.75 in there. Okay, now my material surface, it's at the 0 position, which is what I want. And it says right here your XY position. We're going to set those to 0, both of them to 0. If you don't change these to 0, your project will be off-centered. So once I've got all that entered, I'm going to say OK. All right, so my project that I created is now in the bottom left-hand corner. So I'm going to have to reposition that. So I'm just going to click on where it says Edit Objects. There's all these arrows. I'm going to click on this one, Transform Mode, Move, Scale, Rotate, Selection. And I'm just going to draw a box around it. Okay, and I'm going to grab it from the center little square, and I'm going to drop it in the middle. And as you are kind of playing around with where to center it, all of these little dotted lines pop up to help you get it centered. All right, so that looks like it's kind of in the center, and I want to expand it now. So now I'm going to grab it by the top right, and I'm going to pull it out. And you can see my project, the Bulldog itself, is growing in size. I'm going to now drag it out by the bottom left. And now I'm going to recenter it in the middle. And I think I'm close, but not there yet. All right, so that looks pretty centered to me. Now, I've got to profile the toolpath now. So I'm going to come over here to this top right side where it says Toolpaths. I'm going to stick that little tack in there so it doesn't go anywhere. And now I'm going to click on where it says Toolpath Operations. I'm going to click on this first one where it says Profile Toolpath. Now, you want your start depth to be 0.0. So that's telling the end mill that the top of your wood is the starting depth to cut. Now your cut depth for engraving, a good cut depth in my opinion is 0.0125. I really wouldn't go any deeper than 0.013. Now right here where it says tool, we have a V-bit 60-degree angle tool in there. And where it says number of passes, I like to edit that pass and bump it up to 2 for engraving. I'm going to change it to 2 and I'm going to say OK. So the reason why I think the two is a good number of passes is because the first one cuts your original design, and then the second pass that the drill does really cleans up all the splinters that are in those lines. So 2 passes. Now where it says machine vectors, you can choose to cut outside the line, inside the line, or right on the line. I choose right on the line because I want what it's engraving to look exactly like what I've designed. So I'm going to choose on the line. We want it to climb. And then you can pretty much skip all the way down to the bottom and click calculate. All right, so this is kind of a 3D rendering of what your project's going to look like on the piece of wood. Okay, so I like what I'm seeing. I think it looks pretty much exactly like what I've designed. And one quick thing to know is all of these red lines, that is just the path that the drill is going to take as it's moving to cut out your design. Okay, so I like it, so I'm going to close this, and then I'm going to click this little blue icon right there. That's the Save Toolpath icon. So I'm going to click Save Toolpath again. Okay, now I've got to title my project so I can find it. So I'm going to title this Bulldog Practice CNC. I'm going to save it, and it's going to save it as an NCC file, which is exactly what our CNC router reads. And now I'm ready to take it to the CNC router.